Welcome back to the Dorian Finance Podcast. If you're new to my podcast, it's about finance, business, and much more. I'm Dorian. I'm thrilled to be your guide on your path to financial freedom. Let's get started right by you following my podcast. It's not what you do that makes you rich, but how you do it that makes you rich. Financial literacy involves many different key topics that is designed to help you understand and manage your own personal finance. And those topics have a few questions that you need to answer. First one being, what is your current financial situation? Are you making more money than you're spending? Are you not making enough money to afford your bills? And then you answer the question, what are your monthly income? What is your monthly expenses? And get that down to the penny. After that, you want to learn how to find your net worth, which is you take your income minus your expenses. That's your net worth. And then you want to do budget analysis, which is you're tracking your income and your expenses to identify areas that you're spending, your habits of spending, and you adjust when needed. And then you want to set a clear financial goals, both short-term, being saving for a vacation, building an emergency fund, paying off small debts, or long-term goals, including saving for retirement, buying a house, or funding your children's education. Educate yourself on key financial terms such as budgeting, savings and investing, credit and debt management, taxation, and insurance. And over those few categories, budgeting, savings, credit, taxes, and insurance, especially for me and many of the younger people, I didn't understand what credit was, what debt management was. Credit is your credit score, which there's 3 different bureaus that track your credit, and you can find your credit report using your most of bank accounts have it now, gives you a free credit report to show you what your credit score is. And managing your debts is paying the minimum payments or paying it off completely so you're not paying interest on it. Or if you want to get more advanced in debt management, that's more if you have loans that are bad with high interest, can you figure out how to get a different loan to then get a lower interest rate by transferring that debt to another? Or debt consolidation if you aren't able to track your accounts, which usually easiest way of doing tracking your accounts is putting your accounts in a Excel sheet and tracking it that way, so you're not being like, okay, I think I have this bill, or I think I have these accounts. You want to know exactly which accounts you have, when the payments are due, that type of thing. And then same thing with taxation. Because I was younger, or I am young, I didn't really think much about taxation that much, or your tax rate. But you can figure out ways to get tax deductions, tax breaks. For example, I'm in college, so that they give me a tax deduction for being a college student. That was a very good thing. Same thing with insurance, which that's life, health, auto, home insurance, that type of thing. You want to figure out which ones you need and figure out how much you want to pay for each one. And as you get more and more older, life and health become more important. Home insurance becomes important. I have a realtor friend that told me a story of one of her investors that decided to stop paying a $50 insurance payment, and it was a rental property, which that's an even bigger red flag. If you have a rental property, you definitely want insurance. And they literally had something happen, and it damaged the roof and made it become unlivable, so they couldn't have income until they fixed it. And the bill was almost $10,000. And because the homeowner didn't want to pay a $50 insurance payment, they now have to pay $10,000 to start making rental income. That is a horror story when it comes to insurance, and you want to keep in mind on that. And then you want to implement and create a financial plan, a budget plan. I use an Excel sheet. I like Excel sheet because if you do it right, you just put it in once and it will auto calculate all the rates. That's good. An emergency fund is you're aiming to save 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. So that means if you have no income, you can at least pay your bills for 3 to 6 months without trouble. And that is part of the plan. You want to have debt reduction plan, which is you can either do the debt snowball, which is you're taking your lowest debts and you're trying to pay them off as fast as possible, or you just figure out which ones have the highest interest rate, and that's how you can do another method too. And you have investment strategies, which are based on your risk tolerance, time horizon. And what is a risk tolerance? It is how much are you willing to lose. For example, are you willing to potentially lose half your investment within 1 month? Or if you aren't willing for that, you might have to do different types of investments. Or if you're willing to be like, okay, let's gamble it all type of thing, maybe higher risk investments or your bet, because higher the risk, higher the reward on some cases. And then time horizon is how many years can you keep invested before you need the money, which will also have compound interest, which will help you make more money. And then you want to monitor and adjust your plan regularly. For example, if you have credit card payments, then you want to check your interest rate, and if there's other ways to lower that interest rate, that potentially just made you more money by changing up your plan quite a bit. And you can either monitor it quarterly, monthly, yearly. I recommend more is best. And reason for that is the more you check on your plan, and you might see little glitches in your system, especially your budget, and you want to improve that. And it also depends on, like, life changes will also have adjustment. Say you get a promotion, new job, you move to a new area, get married, an unexpected bill, they're all adjustable. And then you want to continuously learn. That's what financial literacy is, by reading books, going to workshops, going and reading financial news, blogs, many different things. Think about, like I talked about, compound interest. This podcast is a resource for financial literacy information. Now, a topic that a few people asked me about: budgeting for summer vacation. And first of all, you want to look at the numbers, and this will change depending on what you want to do. So what I did was look up the average cost of a summer vacation, a trip from in the States, from abroad, family, and then luxury style vacation or a couple, all of which have different price ranges. So now a domestic vacation, and I'm using America's numbers because that's what I was looking up, and it's between $500 to $1,500 per person for a week. It can change depending on how you do it. And then you have international, which could be $3,000 to $5,000 per person for a week, and that again changes depending on who you are, what you're doing. And then a family of 4 could be $2,000 to $5,000 for a week, which that was more international, or not international, domestic travel. Road trip for a family could be $700 to $1,400 for a family for 1 week. Again, depending on how you budget everything, especially, are you going to be eating at a restaurant every day, or do you have a way to cook food and just buy your food from a grocery store cheaper? Or a luxury vacation for a couple could be about $10,000 for a week. Moving on to how to save for your vacation. First of all, you want to set a budget for all of your expenses. You're trying to lower your expenses so you have extra income to set aside for this vacation. Start earlier, the better. Right now we have 68 days before the start of summer, or 9 weeks. But ideally, if you want to have it, you want to basically start even a year in advance. And a lot of times you want to do automatic transfers. So okay, I have $20 extra every week. I'm going to put that aside automatically so I don't spend it. And like I just said, cut back on your unessential spendings. Maybe cancel Netflix for a month or two, so you have that extra money there. Any windfalls, tax returns, refunds, gifts, promotions, all that money you put into your vacation account. Earn extra money, maybe look for side hustles or possibly sell stuff on Craigslist or eBay, your stuff, to make some extra money. And monitor your progress. Use the Excel sheet, or you can just use a calculator and do it that way, and look for travel deals or try to look up different rewards programs. A lot of rewards programs, travel programs, are free to sign up, and they do give you a bonus, especially if you're going to do something quickly. And that's one way. And also be flexible on saving enough money. Maybe the vacation you want is a little too much out of your price range, and you want to be real into your budget so your future self doesn't have crises because of your present self making unwise decisions and that type of thing. And I decided to use a calculator and basically put out how much money per week do you need to save for each of those vacation topics that I talked about. So ideally, you can look at the blog or look at the podcast description to see the breakdown. I'm going to repeat them. It's very boring, just say numbers, but it's how it goes. Now, for the first one, $500, it's basically $60 a week, and then $700, that's $80 a week. Over $1,000, that's $120 per week. $1,400 is about $150 per week, and it goes all the way up to, if you want to do a $10,000 vacation this summer, it's a little more than $1,000 per week you want to set aside to hit that mark, because it's 9 weeks. And that's how math works. My YouTube analytics, which I haven't uploaded a video since February 8th. So my analytics for the last 28 days is 16 video views, and then a 0.1 hours was my total watch time. I did not get any subscribers, and because it was only 16 views, I didn't even want to do the breakdown of the top 5 videos for YouTube. But it's interesting to see that I'm still gaining video views, even though I haven't done anything for about almost 3 months. TikTok, for the same time span, the post views was about 561, which is a 64% decrease. Profile views was 172, which was almost 50% increase, which was interesting. I lost 2 followers. I got 3 likes and 2 comments, and I have unique views of 436, which again, that's more than a 50% decrease. Total followers 369. Please follow my podcast. Thank you for listening to the Dorian Finance Podcast.